You know, this isn't a comic book podcast. I have 2 other comic book podcasts.
Thank you. Well, hang on. I want to make an announcement.
Yeah.
Is it about comic
books?
I am the last surviving human who hasn't seen Mystery Men, but has read Mystery Men.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That is amazing. I also I watched Mystery Men for the first time literally last week.
Yeah.
So I'm really ready to be on this Mystery Men podcast.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about it.
It's question number 1 about Flaming Carrot. Let's go.
The question
I will answer anything
is,
about Flaming Carrot. Let's
is
go.
whether or not the roof is on fire. My mornings are simple. I wake up, take a dump, get out of bed. This is episode 387 of Insert Credit, where I've assembled the world's most insightful and accomplished video game experts to be startled
that
by
just
a
dawned on
buzzer.
Ash. I'm sorry.
What?
She just got the joke is what happened.
I just got the joke. I'm so sorry.
I'm Alex Jaffe, and something from video games that I took way too seriously for way too long was the Zelda timeline. Through like middle and half of high school, instead of paying attention in Talmud class, I would just be drawing graphs of like where maybe Oracle of Seasons would go.
Wow. I'm Frank Cifaldi, and I'm not trying to avoid the question. I just want to explain why I'm choking up on it, which is that I think at this point in my life, I don't think anything's a waste of time.
Yeah,
I really don't. I tend to think that life is just about like making your brain happy.
What about like sitting on a phone call for like AT&T, like waiting for them to do something?
What does that have to
for
do
you?
with video games?
Oh, you said you don't think anything's a waste of time.
Oh, well, sure, okay, but that is not within the spirit of the question. Like the spirit of the question is spending.
Okay.
Like opting into your own time on video games?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
I guess I thought you were broadening it to say nothing in my life is a waste of time.
I'm not that zen. Where I'm
what a great life you
being
must
on
have.
hold is an opportunity to check in with yourself.
Yeah.
I guess there's certainly a lot of like researchy things that I've spent way too long on and then just never published anything about that game history wise. Nothing in particular is coming to mind. But my joke answer is video games as a concept. I've wasted too much time.
I will say before we move on that it is possible to benefit from being on hold. I once demonstrated that I was so good at being on hold that I got a job out of it as a personal assistant for a couple of years, and I made enough money to move to New York out of that. So there you go.
All right. Professional being on holder.
Mm-hmm. Professional holder.
I'm Ash Parrish, and I think I've misunderstood the prompt because Jaffe said something that he took way too seriously about video games.
Yes.
No, you
And so-
understood
Oh,
it.
and then
Frank misunderstood it.
Yeah, I guess I misunderstood it.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Frank is the one who's off base.
Well, okay. No, I think I was on base, and then Brandon got me thinking more about time with his comment.
Why,
I
is
think
my fault
Brandon
now?
screwed us all up. Yes.
Okay,
It's
okay.
Brandon's-
Okay,
nothing's
once
ever my
again,
fault.
this is Brandon's fault.
God.
Are we opening up the apology corner already, or are we going to wait till the end?
We're starting with the apology corner.
Okay.
Okay, so because I'm the one who understood the spirit of the question, I'm
Mhm.
Ash Parrish, and one thing I took way too seriously was back when I was still like a dedicated esports reporter. I was one of those people that was like, if you spell esports with a dash, you shouldn't even be considered for a job. Like I was one of those kinds of people.
Oh,
and
damn.
I was total asshole
Oh, I
about
love
this. Like
that.
just total elitist, like not good person about that stuff because, you know, I wanted to seem like I was hip and in the in crowd. And so people would take me seriously. And that was like a thing. Like the format is supposed to be esports, all one word. So like I would like catch people. Well, I wouldn't catch people, but like I would see people refer to it with the dash. And I'm like, haha, you're a faker. I'm a real authentic esports girl. That kind of shit. Got over that real quick. Like
The old Spider-Man hyphen gotcha.
exactly. Very cringe behavior from me. It will happen again, just not that way.
I'm Brandon Sheffield. Something I took way too seriously for too long was the concept of Sony killing Sega.
Arayomazé, you're still doing that.
I'm still doing it. Well, it's not that Sony didn't really do it. Sega did it to themselves. But it's Sony was just doing its best to do. They didn't undercut Sega in any particular way. They just did a better job. That's what I got to admit. They did a better job. But
it's okay to resent someone for doing a good job. I think
Saturn
we've all done that.
And the Dreamcast, both murdered by Sony. I took that too seriously.
I want to throw in a real one really quick, which is trying to understand what Metal Gear Solid 2 was attempting to tell me.
Nice.
We got a guest on this week's episode, someone that I personally resent for doing a good job. Joining us this week, one of the few YouTube video producers I watch voluntarily, formerly of Polygon's award-deserving Unraveled series and currently of Dropout TV, a person I am 100% completely normal about, Brian David Gilbert.
Hello. One thing that I have taken too serious. Well, I mean, outside of you just mentioned Unraveled, outside of many things that I have taken too seriously about video games, but I will admit now here, and I say this with shame, that as a child I took the console wars way too seriously. And I feel like I lost friends over it at my elementary school lunch table, and I'm glad that you invited me on here so I can apologize to Ben Lerner about how I said that PlayStation didn't have any good characters or mascots and that they really couldn't do anything. That was just jealousy because I didn't ever have a PlayStation growing up. And so I was a Nintendo boy from day one. And it took until I was hired at Polygon to purchase a PlayStation product of any kind. So I'm admitting to it here, and I'm saying that the console wars were all just made up in the first way, but I was a strong soldier in the console wars for Nintendo.
Yeah, I do.
Thank you for your service.
The N64 era was a tough time to be a Nintendo fan, because like with Sega, with the Saturn, you could have a chip on your shoulder about like, we got 2D. And we're holding up the last generation and true pure animation and stuff. And PlayStation was obviously the new thing, and the way things were going. And then N64 was you had to be like, it's not for kids really.
Yeah, come on.
We have a version.
We got Turok
of Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
They got the cutscenes in there and everything.
Look, once Resident Evil 4 came out for the GameCube, I was like, this is it. This is all I'm going to talk about forever. This is the only thing I have in my corner to be able to be like, well, Resident Evil 4 is on GameCube, so it's not just for kids. Everyone, you guys got to understand that, okay? So Nintendo's cool too. Yeah, that was my entire thesis.
It was a pretty big deal. I'm glad we're talking about consoles right now, because that takes us to my first question. We're recording this the day that pre-orders have gone live for the Switch 2. What's the worst case you've ever seen of pre-order madness?
I'm not saying this to gloat or whatever, but just as an intro, I'm not attempting a Switch 2, at least right now. But what I am attempting is a new graphics card from NVIDIA.
Oh, that's tough. That is the soldier's road.
You gonna run all your AI coroutines, Frank?
Kind of.
Farm in Ethereum.
It's bizarre what is accepted as normal when it comes to buying a part for your computer.
Yeah,
at this
look,
point.
I can wrap my head around Switch 2 pre-orders because I'm like, cool, it's the same nerds as me, and it's also scalpers. Like, I get it. That's fine. Graphics card, that when you're getting into something like that, it's so much more difficult for me to understand how to even start there, because you are fighting against the cryptocurrency miners. You're fighting against literally anyone who needs a graphics card for just normal video work, for like anything. Here's a completely non sequitur, but I recently went through a TSA that had one of those big, have you seen the new machines that are like these big cylinders and you don't need to take anything out of your bag?
Yes.
And then I looked behind at the guy who was looking at my bag, and he was able to rotate my bag in 3 dimensions that it had already like fully scanned through my entire bag, and then graphically like put all of the things, like it was like, watch out, this guy's got magic cards in there. And like he was just rotating it around. And then and in my head, I was like, holy shit, the amount of graphics, like the amount, that was all I could think about was like, you could run Crysis so well on that machine. Like, it must be so good. But I'm fighting against those people too for graphics cards. I don't know. It's impossible out there.
It is. And I just want to, explain what a typical experience is you join a Discord that's full of Pepe the Frog, just everywhere.
Oh, God.
Pepe. Yeah. As you might imagine.
We got boxes full of Pepe.
Boxes full of Pepe, and there's a guy who calls himself Waldo, and people just constantly post like AI art of the Where's Waldo, like dropping graphics cards or something, and usually Pepe's probably in the background there too. I don't know. And so you get an alert that's like, oh man, Best Buy's dropping some cards, and you go to Best Buy to the graphics card page, and there's like an add to cart button, and you add to cart, and it says you're in the queue. Just wait here and don't do anything, except that's a lie. You're not actually in a queue. You're in an infinite loop. And then if you go back and add it again, you get through that loop, and it's like, okay, great. Which location do you want to pick up the graphics card in? And you click on a location that says pick up here, and it says, oh, it's not in stock there. And then you put in different zip codes, and it turns out that it's literally not in stock anywhere. But Best Buy doesn't have like any processes in place to tell you it's not in stock anywhere. Don't try. And you try for an hour before you realize that you're kind of clicking on a wall. Let's put it that way. Just a brick wall, and you're just clicking on it, hoping something happens.
Frank Cifaldi never wastes his time.
Gotcha. But it's going somewhere. It's building towards a goal. And
I want them frames.
Yeah.
I want more frames on my television. More frames.
I do want to contradict. Is it building towards a goal? Because when you're being put into the digital form of purgatory, that does seem like the closest thing that like we can conceive of as limbo, really, is being put in an infinite loop as you're trying to get by graphics cards.
Listen, I tried to play Alan Wake 2. It performed like trash. I said, it's time. And that was like, what, almost a year ago? Yes, it's going somewhere. It's going toward Alan Wake 2.
Ash, have you had any recent encounters with Preorder Madness?
So I think this Switch 2 is my example of Preorder Madness, only because I think it's cute that people on eBay are putting up fake listings of Switch 2 pre-orders at like retail price to try to like confuse people who want to buy a Switch 2 pre-order from scalpers who have like put everything on there and like jacked up the price and all that kind of stuff. But I guess
those aren't real listings, so right?
Anything helps because
they're often listings that are like, if you read the text, it's like you get an email that says you got a Switch. That's what you're buying. Don't buy this if I'm trying to battle the scalpers. Is usually what those things say.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. I had never seen that before. But I guess to answer the question, I tried to pre-order a Switch today and I was successful because I did try going online at GameStop. I didn't do it at midnight because I completely forgot that the pre-orders went live on midnight. Completely forgot, went to bed like a normal human being. Woke up, everybody was talking about it, and I'm like, well, shit, I want one too. And GameStop, helpfully, they opened up their pre-orders at 11 this morning online. So I was there at 11, hitting my little F5 button, and it wasn't going anywhere, digital, purgatory. And then I saw a tweet from Jason Schreier like, hey, I'm at my local GameStop and there's 40 people in line waiting for 80 Switches. So you might have more luck in person. And I'm like, you know what? That's a good idea. So I packed up my dog and I went to my local GameStop.
50% just became 80% because you got a dog with you.
And I went to my local GameStop and there was a line and I was convinced I would not get one, but I waited in line and I did a little on the scene reporting that should be out by now. So on the scene reporting, asking people questions as they waited in line, as I waited in line too. And I got one and I was really surprised. I did not think that would work at all.
That is time, but I do want an answer from Brian before we move on.
Oh, I was up last night waiting for pre-orders and I did not get one. And now I am suddenly thinking, maybe if I go to my GameStop in person, maybe I should go do that after this.
If you live in New York,
So
it's not happening, because when I left, I live in Akron. It's not a big town. I mean, my GameStop had like maybe 60 on order, and there were about 60 people in line. So I got one, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be sold out. You're probably out of luck.
Okay, question 2.
I didn't get to talk about that one. Well, too bad.
You want to spend a credit?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Question.
We're never going to know.
2. What's the right amount of bullshit to put in a video game?
A bunch.
There's never enough.
Oh, it depends on what your definition of bullshit is.
Yeah.
Get into it.
Yeah.
I mean, Demon School, we're cramming it full. We got mini games. We got NPCs talking about stupid nonsense. We got all kinds of BS, one might say. It's packed to the gills.
My immediate thought was the Like a Dragon Yakuza series.
Of course.
But then immediately it was against that, because then I thought all the stuff that I would qualify as bullshit, all of the mini games, all of the like cabaret stuff, all of like that, that's the main
That's the
game.
experience.
Exactly. Yeah. And so at that point I was like, actually none of that is bullshit. Maybe I have gone back and I'm like, you should have zero bullshit in your game. You should just own all the things that everyone else calls bullshit and say that that's your main game.
Yes, I was thinking of bullshit as friction. So making things difficult for your player, not allowing fast travel or some shit like that. And I think games should have some level of bullshit friction, because depending on how it's implemented, it can make the experience better. I can't think of anything specific, but I'm thinking of like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. Like I feel like there's a lot of friction in that game, like related to weapon degrading, which please, I'm not going to get into that right now. I don't care. I didn't think that was a bullshit system. Come for me, whatever. You will talk to a wall. But bullshit like that kind of friction isn't that bad. And I think having that kind of like hurdle to overcome makes it a more, I don't know, rewarding experience, especially if the game is good.
Another thing I might put in there is grinding. We've talked about grinding before, but I think some amount of grinding is nice or feels like you're progressing. It depends on the kind of game, but if the game is the type that lends itself toward I need to get stronger so I can beat this boss, and the battles are fun, then I think grinding is okay. And I do think that it's kind of BS though, because it really is just padding the time between when you can do something and when you can't do something and when you can. But some amount of it is okay, I think, and maybe even desirable.
I mean, there is the phenomenon of the everything game, that when you try to make a video game in the modern landscape, you want it to be something that has a crafting system, something that has some kind of like mountable, like rideable thing. There are like all these boxes you need to check for it to like be part of whatever the current zeitgeist is. And I kind of define that as the bullshit you put in a video game.
Here's a piece of bullshit that I haven't had a chance to really talk about before.
Oh, he's holding it up. Ew.
Here it is. I brought it with me so you can all see. I last year tried to play a Xenoblade Chronicles, the most recent one. I can't remember. And there was a time that like I was in, I don't know, probably somewhere in the middle of the game. I did not beat this game because of this bullshit. And it was that they would show me a cutscene, and then they would take me out of the cutscene and I'd walk 12 steps, and then they would show me another cutscene. And then it would bring me back in so I could move, and then I'd walk to the next place and it would show me another cutscene. That is game bullshit, because it's like, oh, look, you're doing something. You're making something. I would have loved it if you had just shown me those 3 cutscenes in a row without any breaks in it. I do not need to be moving 12 steps to get to the next cutscene. That is when it's real bullshit. When it's like,
Kojima would have taken those 12 steps right out.
Yeah, I guess
exactly.
I guess the old walking around real slow while you hold your hand up to your ear while you're getting a communication thing. That one is definitely some BS. There's better ways to do it. It's never fun. I feel almost like it forces me to try to make my character look stupid during that time, because there's nothing to do, so I gotta like twirl Batman around as fast as I can.
There's some games though that actually time those calls that are to be like the length of walking the full distance to the next part, and it actually works really well.
See, I love it when they do that, but I also hate it because I have been trained to do the spinning around Batman maneuver. And then I'm suddenly like, oh, I could have finished this whole walk and then it would have been perfect. But instead, I thought I had to spin around for a bit to make sure I got all the stuff. And now I have to walk another, Yeah.
I almost want them to like animate the walk and take it out of my hands, but just let me control the camera or something.
Yeah. Imagine fiddling around on the ladder in Snake Eater, waiting for the whole song to finish, and then just doing the rest of the climb in absolute silence.
Yeah. I do believe I would have done that.
Even when it is timed well, I also like it only happens in games where you are like staring at the ground for resources. Like there's always and so I also feel like I have to do that, even though I know they probably wouldn't put something there, but sometimes they do. Like the hand to the earpiece cutscene ends, and then suddenly there are little sparklies all over the place, like back where you walked from. It's like, it's great. That's some BS right there. That's BS for sure.
All right, that's a good place to call it. Here's question 3. How would video games be different today if when you died in the game, you died in real life?
We would not have to worry about Elon Musk. He would have solved that problem himself a long time ago.
Yeah, Gamergate would be over. Like it never would have happened.
Yeah, that's true. Because movements like that are really based on kind of proving that I'm definitely part of the tribe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they would have played the new version of the most dangerous game, which is completely virtual, and we wouldn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, I think if you died in the game, you died for real. Just nobody would play games. That would be it. Why would you do it?
Yeah, well, the other scary thing is that it would become like Alex Honnold, the guy who does free soloing, where he climbs Half Dome without any ropes attached to him.
Oh, yeah.
And then he had that beautiful documentary done about him. That would be about like Elden Ring, and I think that's insufferable. Right? Yeah. Like, I think that would be the thing that kills me, is that I'm like, people would be like, wow, and look at this guy who's managed to go ahead and free solo Dark Souls for the first time. Like, it just like, that would be, I think that would
Dark
create
Solo.
a whole new side. Yeah, it would be heinous, and I would respect those people, which I think is the worst part about it.
Also, I think of what it would do to streaming culture. You know, these people are like, I might die on stream tonight.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Hope I don't. Sorry, it's very dark suddenly, but that's like, that would happen. Yeah. That would be what it's about. And also because it would be so common, I guess nobody would care that much.
Right.
I think we'd also have a different style of, like, you'd have 2 different spaces of games. One where you don't die in games. People just,
and the other one is walking
hopefully.
Simulator.
Yeah, games would get easier, I was thinking. Like, people would make them have no consequences anymore. And then nobody would play games.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I play plenty of games where you can't die.
Yeah, I mean, you could like very easily edit a game to be like Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, where you don't die, but you kind of wish you died. It makes you want to die.
I don't know where Bebe's kids came from. It just rocketed in there.
Yeah.
Were we talking? No, I was having a conversation with my husband about Bebe's kids the other day because we saw there's a Twitch stream that I watched that is just task speedruns of games that just play over and over and over. And one of them was Bebe's Kids, and we were talking about the movie and all that stuff. And that was just last week. So get out of my head, Brandon.
Man, we got to work on that thing again, Ash. We were working on something with Bebe's Kids. Okay, we got to get on that.
I'm proud of all of us for not going the route of, well, then video games would be illegal, because I had a card in my back pocket for that. So congratulations.
I'm breaking the law like literally right now as we're recording this. I don't care.
I believe it. Okay.
You want to elaborate on that?
No, not
do you want Frank to incriminate himself on recording, Ash?
How many credits does that cost?
More than you've got. Here's my next question. Donkey Kong needs a favor. He wants you to talk him up to a friend of yours he's interested in, so they'll take him on a date. What do you say to them?
Who am I talking to?
We're talking to the friend.
Your friend that Donkey Kong is interested in.
Yeah, but who's my friend? Like it depends on my friend's proclivities.
Yeah.
Imagine your friend that Donkey Kong would be the most attracted to.
Now that's a more interesting question, honestly.
I
know that is not very useful for podcasts if I just start listing off people's names that you don't know, but I am now thinking about that. That is a thing that I will be thinking about.
There is a correct answer.
Oh, I know a Pauline in real life. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah, well, okay. If we go by the Pauline archetype,
yeah,
right?
what's Donkey Kong's type?
I mean,
What is
here's the
his
question:
type?
is that I do want to I want to talk him up, and I want to do a good job about it.
Mhm.
Because he's your bro in this canon.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I would hope that if he were real, I would be his best friend in real life. But I guess I would first say that he's always dressed to the nines, because no other ape wears a tie, and he
That's
does
true.
constantly. And I don't know most humans right now that wear a tie every single day, and
Mhm.
like that's pretty good. He cares about his looks.
Yeah.
He cares about his looks. He's a family man. He has a good job. Like he's
Yeah.
a mind, like blue collar work
Throwing
that
barrels?
that pays good. Like he mines diamonds, but like
Yeah.
not in a blood diamond,
But in a
kind
fun
of
way.
Yeah, in a fun way.
An ethical way. You
Yeah.
understand?
Ethical banana diamonds. Like this is a good guy.
Oh, there's our
He's
episode
very
title.
emotional.
Uh,
In tunes with his emotions. He takes care of his little nephew and niece. Like this is a good family man.
I'd want to talk about how he used to have this huge beef with this guy, and now he's like best friends with him. And it's like if he can turn that around with Mario, you know that he's an empathetic guy. You know that he's in tune with his emotions.
Brian, you know that that's Donkey Kong's grandpa. You know that.
I'm aware of that, but I also want to say that he is still fighting him on the regular, but like in a friendly way. Also, look, just because it's your grandfather, you can have generational beef, right?
That's
like
true.
Yeah.
That's some aged
Romeo
beef.
and Juliet has been around forever. We understand
Yeah.
the importance of generational beefs.
That's true.
Personally, I'm tired of Donkey Kong trying to set me up with trying to get me to set him up with people. I think he's
Yeah.
he's too thirsty. He's one of those people that I feel like maybe I need to cut out of my life. Like, look, wait, you're gonna date all my friends. Then I'm gonna have to choose later when you inevitably break up because you slip on a banana or whatever.
Why can't Donkey Kong hold a relationship? Like, why
Yeah,
does
see?
he need to come to us to get us to hook him up with our friend?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to Diddy?
What do you mean?
Is Diddy
Well,
dead?
there was that whole documentary about him, right?
What?
Different Diddy. Different Diddy.
Oh.
Diddy.
All right, sorry.
No, that one's not dead yet.
Well, what do we know about Donkey Kong? We know that his coconut gun can fire in spurts. And if it shoots you,
I'm just trying to
hurt.
say that, like, I think Donkey's got some dark stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I think he, you know, yes, he's pals with Mario, at least sometimes, as far as we know. But it seems like he kind of goes to a dark place sometimes.
Mhm.
And I'm not super comfortable, you know, hyping that up to a friend. So, you know, if I have to hype him up, which I think is the question, I think I would do it in a way where it's really obvious, where if you read between the lines, I'm saying stay away.
Oh,
You're doing you're giving him a reference, and you're saying like, oh, his handwriting's really good, but you don't say anything
exactly.
else.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see what
Yeah.
you're saying.
That
Yeah.
reminds me of what my mom's friend wanted me to take her friend's daughter to prom,
Oh no.
and I was like, "Well, what's she like?" Like, like, "Oh, she's really sweet, and she's blah blah blah, and this and that." And I was like, you know, I don't know. This was the 90s, by the way, so nobody was sending me photographs. And I was like, I don't know. I hate to ask, but is she like pretty and stuff?
Oh,
And then there was a long pause,
Oh no.
and my
Oh,
mom's
no.
friend was like, "She has a great personality."
oh
So that's what we would be doing with Donkey Kong right here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Donkey Kong's pretty handsome as far as apes go, I guess.
Oh, we're not talking about, like,
No,
I think this person knows
no,
what he
no,
looks
no.
like.
no.
Well, Ash has opinions.
Funky Kong, hello?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, is that you have to make sure that you're not bringing up Funky Kong
Yeah,
in the
that's true.
conversation, because then if
right.
as soon as you,
You
do,
don't wanna compare.
you immediately the conversation just becomes about Funky
becomes
Kong.
about Funky
It's-
Kong. Yes. It becomes Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, now featuring Funky Kong.
You should have mentioned this earlier, is that like the reason he is asking for us to give him an introduction is because every time he
Every
gets introduced
time.
to someone,
Yeah.
Funky Kong
Funky
swoops
Kong
in.
messes it up. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would. It would work on me.
Just taking over his entire social circle. He's got no chance.
This does answer Ash's earlier question of why can't Donkey stay in a relationship.
Right.
The answer
Yeah,
is
it's
Funky
easy as hell.
Kong.
It's
Funky
Funky
keeps
Kong.
stealing his girl.
Donkey Kong has way more riz and
Forget
emotional
it, King.
maturity.
It's Funky
Yeah.
Town.
Yeah.
Flying off in those barrel planes. Donkey Kong doesn't have a pilot license. He can drive a go-kart, but Funky Kong can do that too.
He didn't secretly murder his nephew or whatever and bury the body.
Why are you on
I'm
this?
loving this Diddy conspiracy that you are
What
pushing.
is this?
Look out for the documentary.
Diddy Kong is around.
Where?
He was in Super Smash Brothers as a playable character, but that was a long time ago now.
was a long
Where is
time
Diddy
ago.
Kong?
Where's Diddy?
Where's Diddy Kong?
Oh my
Where's
God.
Diddy? Question number 5. Where's Diddy Kong?
If someone wants to genuinely clue me in about this Diddy Kong conspiracy theory, like this is your opportunity. Please take it.
There's not really a conspiracy, but
Kongspiracy.
there is a new Donkey Kong coming out, as you know,
Yeah.
because I believe you've played it yourself.
Yes.
I don't believe that they are incorporating the extended Kong universe here. I think they are trying to finally sort of delete Rare's input on Donkey
Ooh.
Kong. Is
Yeah.
my I don't know if that's a conspiracy theory, but that is my belief. Is that they are reclaiming Donkey.
Taking it back.
I think
That's
so.
our word.
Like when they un-Ken Penders'd the Sonic comics.
Yeah, I was gonna to do a more like video game comparison. I think they're Miss Pac-Manning Diddy.
Oh.
I think they're deleting him. Is my I guess you will call it a conspiracy theory, but I believe that's what's happening. I believe they're trying to get rid of that stuff.
All right. The last appearance of Diddy Kong was in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. He was included as DLC in 2023. So it's been a couple years.
He was also he was referenced in Super Mario Odyssey, I'm seeing, because I was looking this up.
Mhm.
One of the billboards in New Donk City reads Diddy's Mart. So I think
Could be the other Diddy.
he started.
Yeah, it could be the other Diddy.
No. There's a costume of him that you can also buy, which makes sure that it's the right Diddy. So I think he just got a job. I think he got a regular job. He's not, he's not racing the way he used to.
Everyone loves to be like, oh, like, where did this actor go? It's like, maybe they just figured out they didn't like this anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's
Mhm.
gone off and he's like a substitute teacher now, and that's great for Diddy Kong. We don't need to like constantly keep him in the public eye. Let him have a life.
He took the Jake Lloyd journey, and more power to him for that.
God bless.
Tell me I'm wrong about deleting the Kong verse, though. Come on. That's
No,
what's happening.
I think that's a sound theory, and we'll see where it goes. But, I sincerely doubt that Nintendo is going to just, like, shelf a bunch of monetizable, recognizable characters that
I think
way.
he'll just become like a Rob or whatever. He'll just
Yeah.
be like dragged out once in a while to be like, hey, old people.
Yeah, they'll show up in a Mario Party and never
He'll be
in
in
a
Mario
real
Kart
Donkey
9,
Kong
I
again.
think.
Sure. Let's all take a moment to check in with Diddy Kong as we take a quick break from the show. The following ad supports the Insert Credit podcast, but is not necessarily endorsed by its individual members. Good evening, Earth 33. This is Alex Jaffe for DC Action News, reporting bravely and boldly every Wednesday as the news breaks from the center of the multiverse. Each week, we bring you the top breaking stories from across our reality, true and consequential in our world, though published in yours as weekly releases from DC Comics. Find DC Action News wherever you listen to podcasts for a fresh perspective on these stories from the people who live it. We're here to save your day. Welcome back to Insert Credit. It's time to go to the question hole. This is the part of every episode where I take one question submitted to us by our very handsome and very generous patrons at patreon.com/insertcredit, where for mere dollars a month, you get the opportunity to send us your questions. You get monthly bonus episodes. You get all kinds of other cool stuff. But we're going to focus on the question part right now. This week's question is from Magnanimous, who asks, I've been reading some gaming magazines from the early 80s, and writers often used the word computerist to mean someone who plays video games on computers. Wow. Is there any slang from ye olden times that you would bring back for modern gaming?
There's not a lot. I mean, the other one from those times is arcader, is the one that I've kind of seen a lot in the early 80s. And that tended to also mean people with like an Atari that played Space Invaders or whatever. They were arcaders. I'm not sure when Gamer started.
The original console wars were computerists v arcaders.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But what slang would I bring back? Let's think about it. I'm trying to think what's the list of stuff that went away that we know, right? Like all I can think of is stuff like Doom Clone, right? Like early genre names from when we just didn't have like the vocabulary, but like what other slang can we even think of?
I feel like what I would like to bring back is, and I know this isn't necessarily slang, but like I'm thinking about how I was so into the Nintendo forums when I was like 10, and like the amount of like every other week someone would post a new thing that was like, hey guys, I thought of a new name that we can all call ourselves. We could be Nintendorks. Hey guys, I think we could all be, how about this for a fun and like back when it was like we were all just trying to be, let me get the name through. Let me figure out what we're all going to be calling ourselves. And like I think we should bring back not any of those names, but just the culture of trying your best to claim something.
To launch a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
All I can think of is the console wars, and people would call folks Sony ponies, and I think that wouldn't
Sony
upset
ponies.
me.
I don't know that.
Sony pony is a good one, I think.
Yeah. There was a time I believe when we referred to, before joysticks, we just called them paddles.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Frank?
Well, paddle is very specifically the twisty thing
specific, but
on the Atari.
I heard it. On the Atari 2600, they would refer to it as a paddle sometimes, right?
The twisty thing was very specifically a paddle.
No,
like on the packaging, it's like compatible with paddle controller.
I heard that extended to other controllers that weren't paddles.
like in everything's a Nintendo kind of
like
thing.
everything's a Nintendo.
I would like to bring that back, calling everything a Nintendo. It would just make things easier.
We could call the sticks on your PlayStation or your Switch paddles.
Yeah.
It's confusing though and wrong, but
It's
that would
not
be fun
good,
for me
no.
to get.
Or we can
Paddles
call
are
them
the things
Nintendos.
on the back of the controllers if you have like an elite controller. Like that's what a paddle is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I have those zipped up in a bag somewhere.
I know I'm changing the question, but I was like, are there current phrases for like new game slang that you're like, this one shouldn't be used for this?
Literally everything. Like, no, I don't like it because it's all based in slurs or poorly appropriated AAVE.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like terms for people who are like new to Roblox that we just have no idea.
I mean, going back to those dark Nintendo forum days, there were a lot of these fan-made nicknames that ended problematically.
Oh, I'm sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in the spirit of your question, Brian, I was going to say we should get rid of IMSIM because that doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
What is IMSIM? Am I
immersive
too far?
simulation or simulator?
Yeah. We may need to get rid of JRPG. That might have outlived its usefulness.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it is a very apt descriptor of a type of RPG, not necessarily where it's from.
Yeah, like the J doesn't really, the J part doesn't really make sense, but it does describe a kind of game.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, I think it might be evolving to not necessarily mean Japanese. I think it might be like 10 years from now, someone goes, what does this mean? Oh, weird. You know,
it's like how you use the term yacht rock, even if it wasn't made on a yacht.
Right.
Yes.
Or 4 yachts to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're still answering this question when Sony ponies was the answer.
Well, yeah, that was the
Correct
winner.
answer.
We got
No,
it.
now we're deciding what the J in JRPG stands for. Joyful.
Should I turn my chair around?
Yes, the
and
jocular role-playing game.
Turn my hat backward and tell you who the original role-playing gamer was?
Well, you know,
'Cause that's what the J stands for.
I mean, half
Buddy.
of these games are about confronting God.
It's true.
So
It's
that's
true.
not inaccurate.
You kill the Pope in a lot of these things. We talked about that.
Yeah. Man. All right. Well, we answered that. Here's my next question. Which video game vehicle would receive the best JD Power and Associates rating?
Whatever they were driving in when my crew in Final Fantasy 14, 15? 15?
15.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yep.
15.
The
Yeah.
Promptomobile.
I think
It's beautiful.
it's any vehicle that doesn't blow up, all the indestructible ones. So, all the Mario Karts, those don't blow up. right? They just flip around. There's
They
no
don't
damage
blow
on them.
up. But very often, a turtle man in a cloud has to kind of fish you out of a tight spot.
Yeah,
though.
but you talk about your safety features.
Yeah.
I don't think that's included in the car, though. I think that's included in the track.
Can you prove otherwise?
Oh.
That's right.
I mean, we might be able to prove otherwise in the new Mario Kart because you could drive around anywhere, right? And
Yeah.
so once
Shoot.
you go off track, maybe we'll see. And I think that would, I personally think it would be very funny if in the new Mario Kart, they let you die for real. They're like, oh no, you fell off just in a mountain somewhere. You're dead. That you just have to accept that.
Okay, here's my logic. Every course in Mario Kart starts with the Lakitu displaying the traffic light to you, showing when you go, which demonstrates that the Lakitu is not assigned to your car, but to all the cars at once. It's a track feature, not a kart feature.
But multiple people can fall off the course at once and both get picked up at the same time. So think about that.
I am thinking about that.
Yeah.
All I'm thinking about is that I want a JD Power and Associates Award.
Yeah. How do we get one of those?
I gotta say, you know what? Nintendo has succeeded in getting us to talk about Mario Kart multiple times this episode, and we don't talk about Mario Kart that much. So the Switch,
we're known as the
really,
podcast that goes out of its way not to talk about Nintendo. Like, people get mad at us about that.
Hey,
You need to get over
remember when I said I was no longer a part of the console wars? The insurgency's been working this entire time, baby.
We got Sony ponied.
I will say the piece that I wrote is up now. When I asked everybody, like, what game are you most excited for? Everyone to a person was like Mario Kart. That was it.
Wow.
What didn't get into the piece, what I didn't have time for, because I was like frantically writing to get here on time. I asked them, did they care about any of the other shit? No. Game chat, don't care. Mouse controls, don't give a shit. Camera, nope. So one family was like, yeah, this is cool so we can like stay connected with our friends, but everybody was like, no, I just want the games. Give me the games.
Yeah, I couldn't have a console in my house unless I bought it myself. And the first one that motivated me to actually like save up my money to get it was the Nintendo 64. And the reason was Mario Kart 64.
I think it is interesting. We've glanced at this many times, how there are like all these games out there that are either incredibly popular and you've never heard of them, or are incredibly popular but you don't really know anyone that plays it. And I feel like for me, Mario Kart is one of those. It's like one of the most incredibly popular games of all time. I've met one person who plays it. It's my nephew. Like I don't know anyone who's even remotely interested in Mario Kart, and I am surrounded by video game people constantly.
Well, you got to get out of your
weird.
bubble and talk to the common man, Brandon.
Brandon, you've
that.
just been living in a Ridge Racer culture your whole life.
Yeah, Ridge Racer rules. That's why.
So is Mario Kart like the Spice Girls of video games?
Yeah.
The Spice Girls are the Spice Girls of video games.
Yeah. Also, I was going to say, and I say this, please forgive me, but I feel like Mario Kart's the Big Bang Theory of video games.
Oh,
where
Jesus.
it is.
Blasted.
And I'm so
Wrecked.
sorry to bring this take out here,
Wrecked.
but it is the thing where it's like, it is the most popular thing, and like everyone knows it, and everyone who has at least heard of it once, and like but anyone who likes video games is not going to call that their favorite thing, right?
No.
Like you're not going to talk to TV critics and be like, Big Bang Theory.
I gotta defend Mario Kart and go for Halo. It's gotta be Halo,
No,
right?
he's
No,
right.
absolutely not. No.
Halo's not
right.
even as popular as Mario Kart.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I would have said Fortnite, but I think more
No.
normies, quote unquote, know
Yeah.
Mario Kart before they know
For sure.
Fortnite.
Mm.
Unfortunately, Brian is correct.
What a
I'm sorry to have
heartbreaker.
to do this. I can do it if you guys want. I understand.
No,
I'll
it's
leave
okay.
my big hot take and then go away forever. Hide myself.
Well, we've jumped the gun here because I end most of these episodes before going to lightning round with a variant on the old Citizen Kane of video games saw. And this week I wanted to ask you all, what is the Tom Hooper's Cats of video games?
Oh, we can still do it. Tom
Yeah,
Hooper's
let's do it.
Cats being the weird movie version.
It's the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, the one that just
Basically.
came out?
yeah.
Yeah, the one that caused
With all the
COVID-19.
buttholes?
Several years ago.
Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, what's a game where like buttholes got day one patched?
They weren't really buttholes, though. I heard that it was just there were shadows that could have been perceived as buttholes,
Mhm.
and so those had to get edited out, so nobody would say that there were buttholes. But there weren't.
How'd that work out?
Yeah, because we're talking about it still.
And even with that explanation, my brain immediately rejected it and went, there were buttholes.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about cat buttholes.
By the way,
now.
have any of us seen it?
I saw it in theaters.
Multiple
It was the
times.
last thing I did before the pandemic
I've
started.
never seen it.
I have also never seen it.
Frank?
You don't
No,
have to.
no, I haven't seen
Well,
it.
Yeah,
I will
okay.
say, okay, the best thing about it was that my fiance was a film critic, and I would only get invited as a +1 whenever it was a movie that was bad, because they would always give me
nice.
+1s for those ones. So
Yeah,
I got to go watch Gemini Man, and I got to watch Cats, and I guess maybe, what was the other one? Jumanji 2? Those were the 3 movies that I got to watch
Jumanji.
before everyone
Wow.
else. Jumanji 2 was okay. But Cats... Watching Cats in a theater full of New York film critics was maybe
that
the
had to
best
be
experience
great.
in
Oh
the
my
world.
God.
First off, another thing you need to know is that for screenings, they give you a lot of stuff if they know it's a bad one. So like you can tell if you walk in as a film critic and they're like, "Hey, sorry, here's your ticket, go in." They're like, "Okay, this movie might be pretty good." But if they come in and they're like, "We will comp all of the food you want. We will give you 7 cocktails. We will do that." They gave us 2 cocktails, a cupcake, cat ears. Like we knew we were in for a treat. And then we go into the theater and I like truly, it was a beautiful experience because I never have. Most of those screenings are dead silent, but at that screening, I like audibly heard multiple times New York film critics be like, "What the fuck?" And like it was incredible. It was such a fun time.
I think, contrary to the fun, unfortunately, the answer might be games that use a lot of generative AI. Where you look at it and you're constantly like, what am I looking at? Is this
I
what
think that's unfair to Tom Hooper's Cats. It's baffling, but in a creative way.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, so you feel like it's something where you feel like choices were made, you just don't understand them. So yeah, that's a different thing.
Yeah. It's full on got a nude Idris Elba disappearing in a cloud of magic and shouting, "A cavity!" It's got its own kind of weird magic to it.
The thing about Cats also is that like it was one of the longest running, one of the most successful musicals of all time.
Yes.
And it was also one of those things that like, if it was outside of the theater circle, you'd be like, well, Cats must be good because it's been going on forever. And then you'd go watch it and you'd be like, what the hell? Why is this a thing? And like, I'm trying to think of an IP or something that was turned into a video game that people were like, this is going to be a slam dunk because everyone loves it. And then it came out and you're like, no, what? No. What are you talking about?
I feel like that's a Peter Molyneux game.
But he didn't. That's a different kind of thing.
The presumption being everyone goes, he must be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't. I was thinking along the lines of the IP that got adopted into games, and people are like, "Well, it must be good," but I guess that doesn't really come across as well in games.
Or something that got a sequel or a remake, and you're like, "Oh, it must be good because they brought it back."
Here's something I'm going to propose along the lines that Brian laid out. The Tom Hooper's Cats of video games is the Borderlands movie.
Yeah,
That is the video game equivalent.
Yeah. I kind of
but
buy
okay,
that.
the Borderlands movie, damn it, wasn't that bad.
And I'm saying Tom Hooper's Cats was not that bad. There is enjoyment to be had in that film.
What about Uwe Boll?
Uwe Boll.
And his
Uwe
output.
Boll's Blood Rain movie is
His
a good
Blood
one.
Rain movies, his House of the Dead, just all his video game movies. He was making choices all the time, and you just be like, oh, well, look at this, look at what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, but he had a very minimal understanding of the source material, so that maybe that changes things a little bit. But I think he's close. Uwe Boll, he's in there.
Yeah,
I tried to do some research for this question.
Yeah.
I'm going to post the research in our chat here, and if anyone would like to read it out loud, so that our audience can enjoy, go for it.
I would love to. Video games that have buttholes. AI overview. Several video games feature characters or elements that include or highlight buttholes, often for comedic or satirical purposes. Examples include games like Donut County, where the main character is literally a hole, or games with characters or scenes that have a focus on rear anatomy.
Is there anything but... I've played Donut County. There's nothing butthole about
There are no
Donut
buttholes
County.
in that game.
Well, a hole is a hole, apparently, to these people.
It's nothing but holes. That's what.
Nothing but Brandon, I'm gonna have to dock you a credit for that.
What?
I'm sorry. Those are the rules.
Wait, I need to. Hang on, I got a little treat for Jaffe.
Yeah.
If I scroll down to the first result. Past that. Hang on.
I just got to be clear for Frank's honor that he was Googling and that AI overview was the Google AI overview.
He wasn't plugging this into anything.
Jaffe, what's if you scroll down past the AI?
Screenshot, just learned that there's a butthole in Nier. You know, how to take a 10 out of 10 game and make it an 11.
Edit. Seems to possibly be photoshopped.
Oh, Lord. Okay, well, with that, I think it's time to go on to our lightning round. I've been saving this.
I'm sorry. I just want to say that oftentimes, every time a Reddit post comes up in my Google search, it could have been said by an 11-year-old on the playground.
That's true.
It's like, oh, guys, I just heard there's a butthole in Nier. It really happened.
Well, the one that is previewed right below that is looking for NSFW games with good butt and breast.
Yeah.
Which also feels like it could have been said by 11-year-old.
Good butt and
good
breast.
Butt and breast, please. I heard about the boob.
Where can I learn more about this?
We're talking about buttholes, and now the only thing I can think of is Stellar Blade, because for all the gaff, that was an incredible ass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but did they show hole?
No, they did not show hole.
Yeah, that's how you take a 10 out of 10 game and make it a 9.
That's right.
All right.
Or a 0.
Brian, I've been so excited to have you on this show. We've been trying to make this happen for a while, that I have decided to earmark one of our most beloved games, specifically to bring back for this episode. That's right. It's time to play Arcade of Our Own.
Okay.
You know it. You love it. Here are the stakes. I have a browser tab open displaying the games category of archiveofourown.org, the internet's premier fan fiction depository. Here is your goal. You want to name a video game with the smallest amount of fan fiction written about it. However many stories there are under that tag is the number added to your score. Lowest score after 4 rounds wins. However, if you pick a game with no fan fiction, you'll receive a penalty of 100 points. So you want ideally to identify a game that has a small but not non-existent representation of sick freaks.
Oof.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oof.
Really got to thread a needle here. And we will start with Frank.
Rystar.
Rystar. Ooh.
It's a good one.
Interesting. Game that's been around for a while, but doesn't have a strong fan presence that I know of. All right, show me Rystar. Frank, there are 2 fan fictions about Rystar.
Wow.
That is a good one. One of them is called Rystar's Greedy Vengeance. If Sega won't make a Rystar sequel, I will make one myself.
That's not what I wrote.
Yeah, you could game this system by writing your own fan fiction. That's not
right.
against the rules. Ash, you're up next.
So, Brandon, I think you and I have had this conversation on Blue Sky, but we have not brought it to the podcast yet. I'm really mad at you for not telling me about Tempo.
So many times have I talked about Tempo. So many times.
But I didn't know you were talking about Tempo.
Including in the 32X episode that we did like 2 months ago.
So I'm going to name Tempo because I think he's really cool.
Check it out,
right.
you know.
Show me
Keeps
Tempo.
it funky, and he's good to go.
You guys are doing really well. Tempo only has 1 story written about it.
That's right.
Yeah. It's from a compilation fan fiction called The Big Book of One Shots. So one chapter is, I imagine, about Tempo.
I'm amazed.
My gosh.
I really thought there would have been more Tempo, but Tempo is not popular, and that's the problem.
That's
I would
the
have
whole
thought.
thing.
Well, okay, I guess I thought correctly, which is there are fewer Tempo than Rystar, but I thought fewer would mean 0.
There's
versus
twice as much Rystar than Tempo. All right, Brandon, you're up next.
Okay, this might be a bust on my first go, but this there's someone on Blue Sky who's always talking about this game. It's funny to me every time because I don't think it's very popular, but the way they talk about it makes me laugh because they just insert it into everything. I'm going with The Ooze.
Show me the ooze.
The ooze on Sega Genesis. That might be a bust straight out the gate. But
Brandon, I'm afraid there is zero fan fiction about the ooze.
Someone should have done the ooze. All right. Well,
we're still discovering that secret.
That's bad news.
Okay.
Bad
Brian,
news for the ooze.
You know how the game is played. It's on you.
This is extremely challenging. I feel like, because I'm aiming for 1 or 2 here, and
yeah, they've really made this hard for you.
this is astoundingly challenging.
Well, we'll mess up the next time.
Yeah, we'll mess up. It doesn't go this well.
It's multiple
Everybody
rounds.
messes up.
All right, I'm going. I'm just going to walk you through my thought process. I'm going for something that's been around for a while, but I don't think people are going to be writing about. But because it's been going on for a while, maybe somebody has.
The Rystar strategy.
Lemmings.
Okay, show me Lemmings. Lemmings has 3 fan fictions about it.
Wow.
Pretty good.
That's great.
We have never, I don't think we've ever done this well.
Yeah, this is the
Wow.
best. Brandon aside, this is the best you guys have ever done.
And usually
on
I do
this.
great.
Yeah. Brandon, you almost won the first one, and then you busted at the very
And then
end.
I did win the second one.
Yeah. All right. I think Frank is the only one who hasn't won one of these yet. And he's pretty
also
close.
Ash.
No, Ash won the first
I
time he
have
ever
one.
did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's funny because I think of myself as pretty good at this.
Yeah, you are pretty good at this. It's just
should
you're
be.
all pretty good at this. With that, we're going to start at round 2. Once again, Frank, you're up.
Pretty risky, but I have stiff competition here. I'm
Mhm.
going to go with Zool.
Have we not done Zool before?
I don't know.
It's been a while. I bring this back when it's been long enough that we can't remember what we previously
Okay,
did.
that's fair.
Show me Zool. 0 Zool, Frank.
Okay.
That's a
Ooh.
bust.
You.
And what is a bust? 100?
Well, it's 100. You're at 102 right now.
Okay.
All right. Ash, you're up next.
Unicorn Overlord.
Ooh, interesting.
Oh, right. It's new. That's a good idea.
It's new, but I got some sexy people in there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Unicorn Overlord, 137 fan fictions.
Oh, man,
I'm
they
sorry.
got on
It
it.
would have been better to
They
bust.
got on it.
Okay.
Yeah, you would have been better to bust. Yeah, you were doing so well. You had a perfect
Yeah.
score.
That's okay.
That's how the game
That's
goes.
how it works.
That's how the game goes.
Mhm.
Like that's how
Yep.
that's how these marathons go, you know?
But you know, you're still in the game. There's 4 rounds. Brandon, you're up next.
Okay.
Don't bust again.
I think Brandon, I think you did Zool before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Consarn it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it helps to be in a room where you have surrounded yourself in obscure video
Okay,
games.
here we go. This could go either way for me. I know there's going to be at least one, but because of the subject matter, there could be a lot secretly.
Okay.
Trevor McFur in Crescent Galaxies.
Oh boy.
So it's
No.
furry,
Oh,
so there's
no.
going to be some thing.
But there's nothing to grasp onto in that game.
Well, there's
Yeah.
there's a multiple characters of multiple genders.
It does have fur in the title. I would think this is a safe choice,
Mm.
but there's nothing. There's
Yeah.
Oh
no
my
Trevor
God.
McFur.
Oh my god!
I'm as surprised as you are.
What?
I guess
people.
if you're a Trevor McFur fan, you might as well just write Sonic fanfic.
guess.
Shit.
Well, they probably just they're like, you know what? I got to just do Star Fox. It's probably what they
Yeah,
Yeah.
just do Star
Yeah.
Fox.
did. Yeah.
hmm
Well, I feel like because of this conversation, the next time we do this, there's going to be one Trevor.
There's
McFur.
going to be
Someone's
one.
Gonna,
I am counting on the listeners of this show to populate the 0 category games.
That's right.
Yeah. I have a little bit of leeway now, which is nice.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna.
Yeah, if you bust, you're gravy.
Let's go with Ape Escape.
Ape Escape.
Ape
Escape.
Ape Escape. Okay, not terrible. There are 44 Ape
Damn.
Escape fan fictions.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. What's the most popular Ape Escape pairing?
Oh, I don't know if I want to know
It's got to
that.
be Ape
Yeah.
and Snake, right? Ape
Yeah.
and Solid Snake. One of the apes.
Yeah, it must be, surely. All right. Yeah, that is a neat little 44 points to Brian, who is still sub 100. That's our halfway point. Frank, round 3.
Okay, I'm going for something with Ape Escape like numbers is what I had in mind, sort of a
Yeah.
safe bet.
Safe choices.
And this might be difficult to search because it might be too generic of a term. So, give yourself a minute. But Army Men, the 3DO video game
Interesting.
franchise. Sarge's
Yes.
Heroes had characters like whatever that Barbie doll's name was.
It did.
Vicky.
Frank, excellent impulse. Army Men has 5 fan fictions.
Boom.
about it.
That's very good.
Yeah. One of them is a Warhammer 40K crossover called Toy Hammer.
Nice.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I might read that later. Okay, yeah. You add a nice little 5 points to your score. Ash, you're up next.
This is a risky one, and I'm going to regret it, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. Freedom Planet.
Freedom Planet.
Ooh.
Freedom
I
Planet.
think you might be in danger there.
I
I
think
know.
that's
Yeah.
really bad.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Freedom Planet has 123 fanfiction.
damn it!
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, just to put it in perspective, everybody, like we deal in fandoms with hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
fics, okay? So, like, overall, we're
Yes.
doing pretty good. But
Sure.
within
Yeah,
the scope
but
of this game,
100% of Freedom Planet players write fanfiction.
Yeah.
That's right.
That is the problem. You've identified it, Frank.
shit.
Yeah. All right. Brandon, you're up next.
Okay. So the problem with this
You've
one,
busted twice already.
I know. I might be too far the other way this time because there might be too many crossovers with something that I know will be full of fan fictions, but I'm going to go Drakengard
Drakengard.
because there's going to
that's
be a
gonna be
lot
bad.
of Nier, but Drakengard specifically?
Brandon,
Oh no.
there's 340 Drakengard fanfictions.
Son of a.
Yeah.
And that's all because of Nier. It's all
Yeah,
just
and that's
like
all
they're
because
trying
of
to-
Nier.
God darn it.
Yeah,
That was a stupid choice.
Yeah, you
It's
you
bad
are
instinct.
way in the hole right now, I'm afraid.
All right, well that's it for me.
You're way in the near butthole.
So next,
Yeah.
because I know I'm gonna lose, let's see what I choose next.
Now that you
Now I'm going
now
for
that
a
I'll
high
lose,
score.
let's see what you choose. Brian, you're still sitting pretty at 47.
How many more rounds we got?
There's one more round
right?
after this.
Yeah.
One more round. Okay. I'll go with something that I'm afraid is going to be a bust, but I'll say Amazing Island.
Ooh.
It's that GameCube game.
Yeah.
That
Let's
does.
see.
Amazing Island.
I suspect bust, but let's find out.
Show me Amazing Island. Yeah, that's a bust. I'm afraid you
Dang.
are at 147, which
Okay.
brings Frank back into the lead.
So, inspired by that one, Survival Kids.
Ooh.
Mm,
Survival Kids.
it's a good one.
Show me Survival Kids. No, that's a 0.
Really?
Yeah, no Survival Kids. Sorry. That takes you to your final score of 207, which at the moment is the second lowest. So you can still win. Ash, you can't anymore, but let's see if you can at least beat Brandon.
There's a flaw in this game.
Yeah.
Okay. Beat Brandon is the goal. So,
Beat Brandon's the goal.
Well, I'm going for the high score now, so you
Yeah.
go for it.
well, then just say Kingdom Hearts. No.
Wait, do you say
Forza-
Kingdom Hearts or do you say Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts.
Do you say Super Smash Brothers?
Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Yeah. You're right.
So, but my
we'll
actual
settle
answer-
this. We'll settle this after this round.
My actual answer is Forza Horizon 5 or whatever the most recent one was.
Ooh, there is no category specific for Forza Horizon, but I'm going to give you the score for Forza the series. That's 14.
Wow.
The whole series.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, we brought it back.
I haven't played it. Are they like cars? Like they have like eyeballs and talk to each other?
No.
No. Yeah.
They're not.
Proud of that
only in story mode.
Yeah. Here's the summary of the latest Forza game fanfiction. All Brian ever wanted was one thing: speed. When opportunity
Whoa.
knocks and he finds
Let's see
himself in the largest street racing hub in North America, Bayview, he gets more than he bargained for. He gets a pissed off Dominic Toretto, who is more than ready to hold Brian to the flame.
I love
It's
it.
not about who's the best anymore. It's about who deserves to be redeemed from their past. And Brian will stop at nothing to make it across the finish line first.
I love this.
I keep
Yeah.
thinking this summary is going to be over, and then it is not.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
Okay. The one thing about people on Archive of Our Own, they do not know how to keep it brief.
No editing on those ones,
No,
as they should.
not the space for it. Brandon, shoot for the moon, baby. You're playing
Okay.
your own game now.
I mean, Kingdom Hearts and Smash Bros. Those are all really good. My first instinct was to do, just because I'm curious, Mass Effect. I want to see how many thousands Mass Effect has.
14,
All right, Matt.
if I had to guess.
Mass Effect has what's your guess, Ash, for Mass Effect fanfiction? 14,000? No, it's 30,000.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Yeah,
Look
there's
at
a lot of
that.
Mass Effect fanfiction.
Yeah, so this gives you
This
you
is
listeners,
a very popular game with romanceable characters.
Yeah.
There's no way it's not going to do bonkers.
that gives you listeners at home some idea of how we were doing pretty decent before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, don't be mad at us for busting a couple times.
Yeah,
just
how
saw
dare
Brandon's
you,
score
all you
go
listeners
up.
that we heard yelling at us? Really rude.
Yeah. All right, Brian.
All right, Brian,
This is the drama.
come
What
at
you
home.
need is to give me a game that has
Under
59 or fewer fan
Yeah.
fictions written
fewer,
about
but
it.
not zero.
Not
not
zero.
zero.
Okay, I've got two options. One of them is one that I think might work, and one of them is one that I just don't want to be on my search history, but I'm curious about. The first one is DJ Hero.
Okay.
I
What's the
almost
second one?
went
I think
for
that's
Guitar
probably going to be a
Hero.
bust, but
Yeah.
maybe.
No, I don't think it'd bust.
What's your second one?
The second one was Rabbids, just in
Oh.
concept.
Oh,
I want to
yeah,
know what
there.
Raving Rabbids brings out.
Probably
Okay.
more than you think.
Which one do you want to go with? Do you want to go with DJ Hero or Rabbids?
I'm gonna go with DJ Hero as my trying to win answer.
Okay. Show me DJ Hero. I'm
Bust?
sorry, Brian.
It's
That's
a
a
bust.
bust. That's a
Oh.
bust. You want me to tell you what Rabbids had?
Yeah.
Rabbids had 40. That would have
Oh,
won.
I know you got it.
Whoa.
I can't believe it.
Frank,
That's
congratulations.
crazy 'cause the
You are our first time winner of Arcade of Our Own.
Man.
Wow, I'm just shocked because rabbits are so sexy.
There's always
Yeah.
drama in this game. There's always like a last minute.
Yeah. And you told me there was a flaw in my game. My game is perfect,
Oh,
Brandon.
there's a flaw in it.
For the record, Kingdom Hearts has 24,000 fan fictions, which means less than
Less
Mass
than
Effect.
Less than Mass Effect. Nice.
Yeah.
That seems low. Those are rookie numbers.
And then
Come on now.
Smash Bros.
Smash Bros. Oh, I way undershot it. Only like 4,365.
Whoa. Wow,
Yeah.
so I was right on with my Mass Effect. Good for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You really won at the game that you devised
Yeah, I
for
won at
yourself,
losing.
which
Yeah.
is why I'm going to give you back the credit that I took from you earlier
Thank you.
while
I
I
appreciate
add
that.
an additional one to Frank. For those of you keeping score at home, Brandon now has 4 credits, Ash has 8, Frank has 4, which means all of our panelists now have enough credits to force us to play a video game at any time.
Yes.
So sit on that and spring it on us whenever you're ready. For now,
Time to play tempo.
yeah.
Hmm.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to recommend to our audience? Either things they are personally involved in, or things they are enjoying, or things that they just think we should be doing?
Brandon, have you played the Game Gear tempo?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that one's cute.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, they're all right. None of them are. I don't have Super Tempo because I can't afford it. But the Saturn one. But
I can afford all of them, but go on.
Well, sure. On the old internets, none of them are like amazing platformers. They all have interesting vibes and are cool to interact with, or like cool to look at and listen to. But they're just not. They don't scream fun. That's
Yeah,
the problem.
that was like my big thing about it. Like, oh my God, I saw it and I'm like, oh my God, he is adorable. His little girlfriend is adorable. They're doing
her
adorable
little
things.
wings.
Like, why have I not heard about this before?
Yep, and it's because it's not that good. It's not
Yeah.
that fun to play.
Fair
That's
enough.
why.
So
That's why.
I guess my recommendation is I don't know, watch tempo on YouTube for a second and make a decision. There you go.
Yeah, check out the little rap. I got a couple.
Yeah.
I forget if I've previously recommended Minako Yoshida's Dark Crystal album, which is just like an early middle-aged lady turning into a goth in real time in music form. It's pretty fun. That's a fun one to listen to. She's all camped up on the cover. Pretty fun. And then because I kept seeing that quote or whatever going around from David Lynch talking about how we should be having fun in our lives. The whole like doing things, the creative endeavor should be enjoyable. And it really resonated with me. So I bought his Catching the Big Fish book. And and I think it's out of print now. I think it went out of print like basically when he died, which is inconvenient. So I don't know, go to your library and get it, or find it somewhere else. But check it out. It's a breezy read. It's all his weird thoughts about meditation and whatnot, but also it'll be like on transcendentalism, and he'll have a page about that, and then the next page will be like Eraserhead. He just talks about some things that happened while he was making Eraserhead. And it's pretty fun, and it's kind of the closest you're gonna get to him really talking about his process in his movies and all that kind of stuff, because otherwise he does that. Another famous quote that you may have seen is some interviewer asking him, "Do you want to explain that?" And him, and then the reply is something like laughs, and then in brackets doesn't respond.
Yeah. Elaborate on that. No.
Yeah, elaborate on that. Yeah. Very good. So anyway, those two. That's what I got for you.
Ash, you want to go next?
I don't have anything to recommend, being honest. It's been fun at my house lately, so like I haven't been out in the world experiencing things to bring back to you guys. The only thing I can recommend is what I would recommend more in generally. Go outside, take a walk. It's beautiful. Touch grass. It helps.
A great recommendation.
Just related to physical activity. Watch a video on how to lift with your legs. If you got to lift things.
Yes.
Because I used to do a much worse job of it. Then my partner was telling me how to lift like a barbell properly, because she'd watch a bunch of YouTube videos and whatever, and that form actually helped me when I was moving boxes every day for the last week, because I found that at the end of that process, my thigh muscles hurt and my back did not hurt.
That's happening to me right now.
That's the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, check that out, because my sister was also with me moving boxes, and she was just like bending herself in half, and then just you could just hear her like wrenching her back muscles as she tried to.
No,
like, don't do that. So, don't be like that.
Yeah, sore thighs save lives.
That's right. That's right.
As they say.
I'm into it.
Yeah, Brian, you got anything?
Just recently on an airplane, just because I was like, oh, I got my Steam Deck, I'll re-download an old game. I replayed VVVVVV.
Oh yeah,
it's a great game. I've hidden it again, and like to be honest, what really it was that I had the theme from VVVVVV stuck in my head, and I was like, what is this song? I cannot remember. And then something clicked, and I realized it was from that video game. But it's a fun one. It's a pretty quick one too. So it's a nice little indie game to play. Same guy who made Dicey Dungeons, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to play that, but I'm waiting until I get my 5090 graphics card.
That's right.
Before I play that one.
And you will wait forever.
Not that fans of the show would not know, but where can people find you on the internet?
Oh yeah. You can find me if you just search my name, Brian David Gilbert. I'm on YouTube, and also over on Dropout. I'm the fact checker for Actually, and I got a Patreon that's just my full name as well.
A thing I'm very normal about.
Yeah.
That's right.
Also, again, just want to, the audience doesn't need to know this, but I have postponed this recording like twice because of just random things popping up on Thursday recordings. And so I want to thank everyone here for being so patient.
Thank you for coming. What a delight.
Thanks for showing up.
Ah, boy, I've got some recommendations of my own, and here they are. I'd like to recommend to you listening to this right now, seriously, do this. If you do nothing else, do this. Rate and review our show on iTunes, on Spotify, wherever you can. It really helps with our visibility. Because shouldn't more people be listening to this? I think you think that, otherwise you wouldn't be listening at this point. You can support us directly too with your contributions to patreon.com/insertcredit. If you'd like to sponsor our show with an advertisement or a personal message, or submit your own horrible buzzer, you can email me at show@insertcredit.com. You can also join our community at forums.insertcredit.com or find us on youtube.com/insertcreditshow. Wishlist Demon School. Subscribe to The Verge. Watch Brian on Actually on Dropout TV and read all about those computerists at archive.gamehistory.org. This episode was edited by Esper Quinn with music by Kurt Feldman. This is the part where we all say our names. I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Frank Cifaldi.
I'm Ash Parrish.
I'm Brandon Sheffield.
And I'm Brian David Gilbert.
And your game has now been saved.
I want to share something with you all.
Is this the illegal thing you were doing?
No.
Damn it.
There's another illegal thing.
I don't think he was doing anything.
I want to share a false positive eBay result from recent memory, which is the seller is selling CDRs of high-res photography that I believe they took for High Times magazine of a lot of marijuana buds.
Oh.
Just multiple CDRs of...
Frank, please do not outbid me on this.
Right?